What is up, guys and gals? It is another game of Commander, brought to you by myself playing my Riku of Two Reflections deck, Isaac playing his Wade into Battle deck from 2016, one of the precon decks with Gisela the Goldknight at the helm, and Nick playing his very first Commander deck, his 5-color Padeem deck. Again, it is his first deck, so he wasn't really aware of the 5-color, the limitations on color based on your Commander. You can only play your Commander's colors. I have to apologize to everyone who's been waiting so long to see this video. I know I promised to get it out fairly soon, and then just things happened. My computer had some issues, and then I got a job, so it was really keeping me away from the computer. And really, at the end of the day, I was playing more Magic than I was recording and editing. So I apologize again. This video is a little rough. I should have probably redone the audio before releasing it, and there's a few spots where some of the cards get... I couldn't catch which cards got played. But all the same, all of the fun, interesting interactions and synergies that happen throughout the game and sort of the course of the game is still captured here. So I hope you enjoy it. We had a lot of fun playing it. It is, again, Nick's first time playing a Commander deck, and since then he's gotten really into it and we've gotten some much better decks. So sometime near in the future we'll probably release some new videos with some new decks, and you can see some of the where we've come as Commander players. So without further ado, let's get into the game. Isaac wins the roll and starts us off. He plays a mountain for his first turn, and then on Nick's turn he plays a meandering river which comes in tap, so he passes. On my turn I finish shuffling, mulligan 5 cards in the hope of getting a land card, and get an island with an embodiment of spring, then pass. Isaac thinks for a long time, then plays a tapped plains. Nick on his turn plays a timber forge, another tapped land, and passes to me. On my turn I play a forest and dump embodiment of spring to pull up another forest onto the battlefield. Isaac plays no land this time, but he does put an artifact down. I think it's the Chariot of Victory. Nick plays another tapped land and passes. On my turn, I play a mountain and tap 3 for Nissa's Pilgrimage, pulling 2 forests out of my deck onto the battlefield, and the other into my hand. With no creatures on the field, 5 mana on my side of the board, I pass to Isaac, who taps 3 for what I can only presume is a Basalt Monolith, but in this case is the Chariot of Victory. Nick makes his favorite turn 4 play with a Burnished Heart, ensuring that he'll have all 5 colors on his next turn. I untap my prodigious number of lands and a mountain, and then bring Riku onto the field, making me the first to play my commander. Isaac gets plains off the top of his library and plays Basalt Monolith, giving him quite a bit of ramp. Nick swings Burnished Heart at Isaac, dealing 2 damage, then sacrifices his Burnished Heart to search up a forest and a plains and puts him onto the battlefield, trying to catch up with Riku's expanding kingdom. On my turn, I play another forest, maintaining my land lead, and cast Sylvok Explorer, copying it with Riku's ability, so I can now produce every color of mana. Then I play a Viridian Emissary, and forgetting to attack while my opponents are open, pass to Isaac, who pulls a mountain off the top of his library. Isaac banishing lights Riku in an attempt to slow down the ramp going on my side of the board, with enough mana to enchant me with Curse of the Nightly Hunt to try and force Riku into swinging into his own death. Nick on his turn taps 5 and plays Tamio's Journal, probably the best card in his deck. I tap out to play Riku, and swing the Viridian Emissary at Isaac, who takes 2 damage. Isaac misses another land drop, but plays Magus of the Wheel and equips his Chariot of Victory to him. Nick investigates, taps 6 and puts the Chariot of Victory on of his own, and a Vehicle of Doominosity, whatever it is, with no way to send it to combat, he passes. With my lands beginning to be unmanageable in their number, I decide to ramp a little harder with an Overgrowth, allowing me to tap for 5 and play Mulldrifter, copying it to draw 4 cards and put 2 2/2s with flying onto the battlefield. Required to swing, I send Viridian Emissary at Isaac and Riku at Nick. Isaac blocks the Emissary, sending it to the graveyard and garnering me yet another land. Isaac pulls a mountain and pays to untap his Basalt Monolith, then reconsiders and taps it to try and cast Leonin Titan. Unfortunately, he doesn't have enough white, so he passes to Nick. Nick investigates on his turn and plays a Metalwork Colossus for absolutely free, which is ridiculously overpowered. With so much available mana, he decides to pull Padeem onto the battlefield, giving all his artifacts hexproof, as well as drawing an extra card on his next upkeep. With the pressure on, I untap and play Mountain. Realizing Isaac could pull Gisela onto the battlefield next turn, I decide to keep him basically out of the game by casting an Acidic Slime and a Craterize, copying both to destroy 4 non-creature permanents, in this case choosing to obliterate Curse of Nightly Hunt, Isaac's 2 white lands, and 1 of Nick's, maximizing the value of Riku's presence on the battlefield by extending my land lead. Unable to target Nick's artifacts with any of these spells, I decide to deal him 4 damage in the air with my Mulldrifters and pass to Isaac. Isaac, unable to play Gisela, now plays a Borderland Behemoth and passes. Nick investigates, but forgets to draw his extra card and obliterates my flying guy with a Spell of Great Pain. He then sacrifices clue tokens to tutor for something out of his library, and, unable to crew his vehicles while leaving up his Colossus, passes. On my turn, I put a Liege of the Tangle, paying an extra 2 to copy it, shipping the turn to Isaac. Isaac dumps his hand, and everyone else is using Mag of the Wheel, and Nick mourns the loss of a card he tutored up, as we all draw 7. Isaac, for his part, dumps an entire hand of white cards and passes. Nick plays Mountain and draws his extra card with Padeem this turn, but forgets to investigate, choosing instead to pacify one of my Liege of the Tangle. After brief deliberation, he decides to return Tit for Tat and destroys one of my lands with a card, then passes. Not slowed down even a little bit, I untap. With so much mana, I return Fire, destroying 2 of Nick's lands with a Melt Terrain, copied by Riku. With 6 remaining, I cast Mana Gorger Hydra, copied. At combat, I swing my Liege at Isaac, but Nick intervenes because we still haven't checked the rules and see if that's legal, and my only combat-ready Liege disappears. On Isaac's turn, he finally gets a Plains. Isaac uses Orm's Thunder to destroy Pacifism, kicking it to burn Riku for 2. Nick untaps his paltry 4 lands and investigates, drawing an extra card for Padeem. He plays a Stone Quarry to try and make up for lost land, and plays a Trusty Companion, accompanied by a Prophetic Prism, drawing him a card and giving him a tiny bit of ramp. Unwilling to swing into my Death Touch Ooze, Nick passes. On my turn, I pull Riku back onto the battlefield. Almost tapped out, but still with a few moves left, I tap my Mana Dorks to put Fertile Ground on one of my islands, and tap it to play an Elk of Rampacious Doom, putting 3+1 counters on my Hydras. I swing with an Ooze, and Nick blocks with my companion, thinking it has First Strike, only to watch it die to my great disappointment. But my folly is revealed next turn as Isaac pulls out a Plains of his hand, and finally plays Gisela onto the battlefield. With his monolith left, he puts Loxodon Warhammer onto the battlefield. Nick investigates and sacrifices his clues to find, well, I haven't got a clue. After taking 3 years to find it, he plays Vessel of something or other, then gives him a little more ramp and puts Pacifism on the bottom. With 2 available, Nick plays Sunhome Guildmage, then passes, still afraid of my Death Touch blockers. I play a land, then play Garrick's Pack Leader, copying it and drawing a card with Riku. Then, with what remains, I put a Centaur Glade onto the battlefield, making my Hydras bigger and setting up a powerful draw engine for next turn. Frightened of wiping Nick off the map while Gisela's on the field, I sack Dawn Treader to get a land and past Isaac, missing my opportunity to deal any damage to Isaac or Gisela. Isaac plays another Plains and decides now is a good time to clear the board with Disaster Radius, revealing a 7-drop which deals 14 damage to me and Nick's creatures and only 4 to Isaac's creatures, all thanks to Gisela. Seeing his opportunity, Isaac swings his Borderland Behemoth and Gisela at me, dealing me 18 damage when the initial damage is doubled. Nick investigates and plays From Beyond, hoping to ramp up to playing it Hit the Betrays, following it with Sky Skiff, which he sacrifices along with his clue counter, and another artifact to return Metalwork Colossus from his graveyard to his hand, casting it once more for absolutely nothing, demonstrating how awesome that card can be in Commander. On my turn, I untap all of my lands, draw more ramp with my draw engine disrupted. I play Wolfbriar Elemental in an effort to put some kind of wall between me and Isaac. With Gisela on the field, though, my wolf tokens may as well be goblins, and will only do 1 damage apiece, should I choose to block with them. With 5 mana left, but nothing I can do with it, I am forced to pass. Isaac untaps like the Grim Reaper and plays a mountain to further solidify his place in the game. With so much available mana all of a sudden, Isaac puts a giant War Chief onto the battlefield, whose hastiness is going to get vicious. Then he equips Gisela with a Loxodon Warhammer to swing it with both Gisela and the War Chief, putting a token onto the battlefield attacking Nick as well. I block the War Chief with my Tiny Wolves and take 16 in the air while Nick takes 5, adding 16 left to Isaac's health. In search for an answer, Nick finds a clue and smacks Gisela back to the command zone with a card. Nick plays Renegade Firebrand, and with nothing else he can pass. I untap all the lands and study my lack of options. With so little else, I play Riku for an exorbitant amount and put Ordeal of Nylea on Wolfbriar, who will never be attacking. With this, his board state returned to sanity. Isaac plays a 2-color land and puts a Hamlet back onto the battlefield, passing to Nick. Why he didn't play Gisela is beyond me. That card is just as good for 9 as it is for 7 or 14 or even 20 for that matter. It's just incredibly strong. Nick investigates and plays another vehicle, but with no other moves, passes, awaiting the inevitable. I untap, play a forest, and ramp some more with Riku, emptying my hand and pulling 6 lands onto the battlefield, because this way there will at least be plenty of land to bury me under when I've finished dying. Isaac pulls Giselle, equips the Chariot of Victory, and goes to combat, swinging his War Chief at me, but putting a token on the battlefield that makes his Borderland Behemoth big enough to drop Nick down to 2 health. Nick investigates his options, sacrifices clues, and looks to see if he's put a board wipe in his deck. He pulls out and plays a Plate Boiler, but realizes he needs 1 more land to board wipe and scoops it up, calling the game. Since the game, I've adjusted Riku to put some kind of ramp out and add answers to opponents' board states, as well as a few more actual threats. Nick's deck continued to play 0 relevant colored cards, as Tamiyo's journal searched up all the pieces he needed to keep playing relevant cards. The ability to sacrifice his clues in order to bring Colossus back was a really cool synergy that allowed his machine-based deck to remain a threat even after a serious board wipe. After wiping out Isaac's 2 white lands at the beginning of the game, I felt bad and didn't target him with land destruction anymore, leaving an opening for him to come back and pull Gisela onto the field. Disaster Raids has an amazing synergy with Gisela, and with no way for me to recover after Isaac's board wipe, and Nick unable to keep up with only a Colossus on the field, it was only a matter of time before Isaac and his unstoppable force of giants trampled over what few defenders we had in play to steal the victory. Nick almost managed to survive his last turn with a timely board wipe, but with only 2 health left and Isaac over 40, there was no way he would have been able to steal a victory before Isaac was able to play even a moderate burn spell and put an end to all his attempts at survival. So that's the game. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be hoping to post another game. We just played a whole bunch more, and we recorded one of them anyways. So we'll be hopefully posting a few more games sometime near in the future here. Look forward to that, and have a very nice day. Bye-bye.